So these two players, they both play Palu. So what's really different about him, you know?
Yo, it's LA versus LA, by the way. SoCal versus Louisiana. That's super funny.
I'm actually surprised. I know both of these players play multiple characters, but I'm actually surprised that Zai stuck out with the Ditto. Because I know he has a pretty good Pyramithra, and I know it's not one of the best matchups for Palu. So I feel like being a Palu player who has a Pyramithra secondary, you could definitely take advantage of that against a player like Atreus.
That's true, and I'll keep it a stack, man. Atreus is definitely the favorite to win this, right? Coming off a winner's top 8 showing at Gommel, and just a lot of good performances across the board. Not to say that Zai hasn't been putting up numbers, but not to the same degree, right? And also not the same amount of activity and travel. So I think Zai's got something to prove here, and maybe just wanting to test out the Ditto just to say, yo, I did it. I didn't even have to counterpick it.
And this is also a player, too, where, you know, we from SoCal, we also have Chase, you know, who's also #1 from this region. So you have Atreus and Chase constantly playing Palu Dittos. So I feel like from Zai, this is a really good... It's a really good a test of pride, honestly. And seeing like how good can I do into a player who practices with one of the best players of my characters, you know, who also plays my character, you know, like it's the true ultimate test.
I agree with that, man. And Zai, I believe, is the #1 player in Louisiana, and Jordan, I believe they've exchanged spots at the top there. But, you know, the level of play in SoCal is definitely higher, right? Like, I'll just call it what it is. And if you're able to beat someone who plays against a top 50 level player like Chase all the time, that is really impressive. So, Atreus, though, man, after being down for most of that first stock, actually going to just seize it back. Take the lead here. Off stage, but shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, Palu doesn't edge guard herself too well, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to actually hit that down air on the teleport, or like to even cover Nair to cover the ledge. I feel like it's a lot, so you just have to get good with the ledge trapping, but literally just right there going for the down air there.
Yo, Atreus with the call outs too, saying, hey man, I don't really have a lot of ways to threaten the ledge. It's just down tilt pretty much. Or I could get really creative, do something you're not ready for, and while you're thinking about it super hard, I'm going to take advantage of that. Zai, though, pops the up smash, finally answering back here and getting a stock. Might be too little too late.
Yeah, I was just about to say, this matchup felt so close at first in the first stock. Both players were just at like 130% sitting, and then all of a sudden Atreus just takes it all the way and makes it 3-1 stocks. So maybe Zai, oh my god, going for the down air again. Maybe Zai can bring it back though, but it's definitely going to be tough. And Atreus is going to need to run into like a lot of things for it to work.
One thing's for sure, in terms of the long-term conditioning at play here, Zai is never holding onto the ledge for longer than he should anymore, right? Like, the ledge traps are going to get that much easier for Atreus when them... Oh, what?
Like, you literally just called it.
Dude, I thought he was going to not do that, actually.
Well, I feel like he did to an extent where he didn't feel pressured, because Atreus didn't jump. So he wasn't in a position to do like a landing down there. So maybe if he jumped, Zai would have been like, whoa, like I'm going to move. So that's what triggered the get-up attack, is that he dashed back so he had time to move off the ledge.
Either way, you could tell there's like a long-term implication just from those few interactions, and certainly from that one spike. But Atreus going to snipe him out there with the explosive flame all the way deep in the blast zone. Props to him, man. He was down for the first like minute and a half of that game, but he came back in a big way and made a huge statement.
Yeah, SSBU was definitely fun. These two, you know, definitely sniped in like the bubble where you have to look at your bubble first, see the side B like there, and then recognize like, oh snap, I'm like right here, and then go for the air dodge. That's with Apollo too. You can never expect like that side B to hit you. You always have to just assume that it is going to hit you. You know, like you don't want to play with it because you're literally playing with fire.
Literally.
Like literally playing with explosive flame.
It lasts for so long too, and just covers such a big space. There's almost no way out of that beyond like a perfectly timed air dodge. You don't have that luxury when you're that far out because you need to make it back to the stage.
Yeah, like a directional air dodge through that, you're just gonna get tapped by like the last hit.
Right. Yeah, you have to like neutral air dodge while falling, and again, you've got to be falling, which is not good for your chances of recovering.
Yeah, definitely makes it very tough. But Zai looking a little bit better in this set. Keeping Atreus in disadvantage for a little bit before dropping that combo, but 30-86 right now isn't too bad.
Yeah, Zai off to a pretty hot start once again. We saw Atreus come back from this before, but I don't know. Something feels a little different. Zai's here to play this time, and once you get that momentum back, or at least you feel like you slowed the other player down, even just with the time in between games, maybe things could be different.
Yeah, that's the other thing too with players too. Players who are good at downloading and players who can like download fast and then like take advantage of that. So I feel like Zai, you know, is looking a lot better in this game but maybe it's just because he wasn't able to get everything going on the first game. Because you saw he was kind of bringing it back towards the end of the first game, but this game he has a good lead. He's playing the corner game pretty well, but he's making like little mistakes, like pressing an extra attack when he shouldn't be. But it's looking a lot better right now. Maybe if he gets the stock, he's actually going to push it a lot farther.
Yeah, it feels like Zai is being very efficient with racking up the damage, but when it comes to landing these kill moves, that's where he kind of struggles. Atreus going for that high recovery mix-up right there. Zai not ready for it, and dash attacking into the shield, just kind of desperate to finish the stock here. Instead, it's going to be the exact opposite of that, and now Atreus with the chance to build up a ton of extra credit.
Oh my god, you saw Atreus go for the short hop again, mixing that down there. So I think with the rage that he had, he definitely could have gone for the spike there. This is going to be a lot of damage. You have no double jump as Palu here.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. Zai, though, back on solid ground. For how long is the question? Back throw should definitely do it here, as will up throw. Palu, that's our secret kill option right there.
Yeah.
In case you're too far from the back throw kill.
And Zai was in disadvantage like once and lost stock already in the second disadvantage.
Yeah, man. Atreus looking like once you just give him a little bit of time to adapt to you, no one is safe.
Yeah. It's a Palu thing too. Palu is so good at punishing you again for like making these lazy like mistakes, lazy options. I feel like Palu's a very good noob killer. And if you don't recognize the matchup or if you just make a bunch of little mistakes, she's gonna punish you so hard for that. So when it's Palu versus Palu, you really can't make any of these little mistakes.
Yeah, and she doesn't really have the best comeback factor, right? She's great at holding leads, but just ripping it back from your opponent, she kind of struggles in that department.
Yeah, you just can't lose advantage ever once you obtain it, which isn't the hardest as Palu, but you have to be consistent against in a meta right now where a lot of characters don't need to be consistent. They can only be consistent once.
Right, and I just want to clarify on what I just said about Palu being bad at comebacks. Atreus has obviously made comebacks on the first stock of both games here, but it's when you're down a stock that you really feel the burn of your opponent's lead over you, right?
Yeah, it's when you're down on your last stock. Like when it's a 1-2 or like a 1-3, you're like, wow. There's only two like things you keep thinking, thinking like, man, like how did I get to this point that I lost, or like you got to this point, so you just got to go all out to make that reverse 3-stock comeback.
And Palu, her all